U.S. Navy warship commander mocked for holding rifle with scope mounted backwards. There it is.
Rough. It was not good.
Okay. So he's got the scope on backwards. Apparently the cap is still on it. And as an aside, many people are pointing out he's doing what's called chicken wing. Other people mentioned, why is there a hand on his shoulder? Like, what is this? And some people are saying, like, how did this improperly mounted scope even get out of the armory? And his fingers on the trigger. He's firing. In the photo, there's shell casings, but this is massively embarrassing.
Is that an AI picture?
No,
it's a real.
And they put it up on Instagram and then deleted it.
Yeah.
Which, like,
and some people were like, it was marketing. They wanted you to talk about the Navy. I'm like, the Navy can't recruit when everyone thinks they're morons.
Maybe it is marketing. Like you put a misspelling in the title of a video, all of a sudden, like, hey, you misspelled, and the comments go up.
Right. The Navy needs to recruit people, so they need to appear competent and badass, because you're talking about, this is combat. Like, here's a guy with a gun. Now you're gonna get some young person who's gonna be like, so they made a huge mistake that could get you killed. I don't want to stand next to that guy.
Right.
Terrible advice.
It's not inspiring. It's not going to make people be like, yes, I will join the Navy.
Did they come up with an explanation for how this happened?
I don't think they said anything. I think they just deleted it and then shut up. Yeah.
So is the article like, hey, look at this weird photo from a Navy?
No, they deleted it.
Was it an official Navy post?
So those shell
on their
casings, we assume that those shell casings are flying because he's the one firing the rounds, shooting the rounds. Okay. Maybe that hand on his shoulder is saying, hey, buddy, your scope's backwards.
Someone, but the cap's on it. It's like, I think they were thinking they would do like a prop photo, not realizing that people would call them out for the prop photo. A lot of people were calling out for the chicken wing, which is when you hold the weapon with your arm out. And a lot of people say it doesn't matter. It's considered improper because you will get shot in the arm. And so you keep it down and close to your chest or whatever. But other than that, it's just, look, man, we're having a hard enough time with recruitment. We've got the U.S. shifting its purchasing of weapons for Pacific theater away from desert, Middle Eastern stuff. So it's clear that the U.S. is taking seriously the threat of China and Taiwan. And we really need people in the Navy, especially if we're looking at like a World War III scenario. We've got the Houthi rebels bombing cargo ships and all that stuff. And this is not confidence building.
No.
So I'm just going to say this. Man, they are doing everything in their power to destroy this country.
And this is a systemic problem, right? That means that everybody on this boat who was here for the photo shoot was like, looks good, man. Have a good time.
Yeah,
this guy who held the gun. Then everyone who was like, here's the photo. Okay, social media team, here you go. Like, many people who have joined the Navy, who theoretically must have been trained in some sort of arms, like, carrying abilities, saw this photo and said, looks good. Like, that's not good.
I think you may be being kind. It may just be that they took 150 photos and they dumped them to some Instagram intern who was like, this one looks good.
The intern at the Navy who theoretically would have also been trained how to hold a weapon.
The intern's probably in the Navy.
I'm wondering
Nobody
if,
would
like,
caught this. Like,
I'm wondering
it's
if
not
he
good.
didn't really even fire the gun. They just threw some casings in the air.
That's what I think too.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you, I mean, I'm going to talk about something I don't know very much about. Wouldn't you, looking in the scope, facing the wrong way, wouldn't you notice immediately?
Yes.
Well, apparently the cap's still on, so
the cap is still on too?
You would see nothing.
Which that makes me hope he is not firing. Yes, like this guy is firing a gun and he can't see through the scope, and this is our Navy.
Well,
Yeah, he just picked it up for a photo. I bet that's a photo op right there.
Yeah.
His
He's
arms
commander
out.
too. Commander of a U.S. Navy warship.
Really?
Yeah. Look at that.
I want an explanation.
wasn't there a picture of Obama looking at the looking across the DMZ to North Korea with using binoculars that still had the lens caps on?
I hope
there?
so.
Let's
So
find
See if we can find that
There
one
was,
out.
there was a picture of someone.
we all make mistakes, but again, like I said, this photo wasn't just this one guy in the Navy posting it to his personal Instagram. This went through many people.
No,
and they were like,
it looks like the photo of Obama. Their lenses, they're fine.
Are they? I swear there was one. Somebody did it with lens caps on.
That's really funny.
It just seems wild to me. And also, you know, I think it is interesting that they chose just to pretend like this isn't happening, right? Like, is this the correct response? Do you not address this, or do you try to make it like, do you put another one out that's like even worse? And you say, can you see all of our mistakes? Like,
Yeah,
do you
like,
make a
where's
joke out of
Waldo?
it? How does the U.S. Navy come
Like,
back
what
from
is
this?
what is wrong with his uniform? And you
Right,
like find
right,
the one
right.
piece. Apparently, according to Snopes, it was Presidents Clinton and Bush peering through binoculars. Status is undetermined if the lens caps were still in place. There's one of Bush. That's Clinton, and those definitely look like...
It's a bipartisan mistake.
Yeah, they look like capped, and then there's one of...
I knew it had happened to somebody.
Bush, but it looks like the caps are off on Bush's. But then there's another picture of Bush looking through with the caps on. That's so funny. From 2001. Yeah.
This one right here, 93.
Yeah,
You know,
Clinton.
in many cases, you're a prisoner of whoever hands you whatever it is you're supposed to be using, right?
True, and he might
Put it
have
up to your
immediately
face and
taken the
click.
caps off.
Yeah. And then, so who knows?
But with
Who is
this
this?
scope, someone had to put it on the gun, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he picked it up. He picked it up. They took the picture and he was like, "Oh, the cap's still on." And then they were like, "We're using it because it just looks good.
It just looks
no one
so
will
good."
notice." What in the hell?
That seems to underestimate
So
gun
if
culture
you're
in America.
wondering why people are resigning their commissions and why our recruitment numbers are so low, here you go. It's a chicken with his head cut off. You know, part of me is just wondering about like social order decay and everything that's been going on in this country, and I'm like, part of me thinks that we're in a simulation, and the generations that actually built this they never really existed, and the Earth was created as is 70 years ago, and then they were like, now let's see if humans can actually maintain this if we tell them that it's possible, and it's just falling apart because humans are stupid.
Well, I think it's a good time for people to become a military commander. If they want to join the military, go to like officer school, get trained to command and lead people, because we need a really good group of commanders.
And just wait out the current hierarchy.
Yeah, because really, if some really horrible thing happens at the top and they give you the order to like annihilate your own people, we need commanders in place that are willing to resist those orders.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think right now, I mean, especially because of the mandates put out during COVID, people are even more wary of the military. But I also think that when you're on the precipice of potential conflict on a geopolitical level, you know, people who would maybe feel a call to serve the country look around and say, I don't want to serve under this president. I don't want to be sent to that war. Like, I don't see anything. And I think even more so, because distrust in the government is so high, you'll see people who, again, who are qualified, because it's a very small pool of people who are actually qualified to join the military and who are willing.
Right.
And I think a lot of them are looking around saying, I think I need to stay with my family in case anything happens.
So I guess we got a super chat where they mentioned, I saw this on Twitter. Dark Hellhound says, don't forget the Navy Facebook had a guy that welding gloves said, I eat ass with a heart on it.
What?
Yeah. So, you know, there's that too.
That's a good one.
That's just...
But
That's the Navy, you know what I mean? Like in the Navy.
Look, let them be. I thought we took away. Don't ask
that's
them
a
tell.
village from the village people. It's just
But you have military commanders talking about how climate change is the greatest national security threat that there is. And, you know, when we have Iran doing what Iran is doing, and you have China doing what China is doing, and there's actual real global threats for the leaders of our military to talk about climate change as what is threatening the United States. I mean, that's
Climate change is all powerful.
That's not your job, dude. That's not why we have a military. And if that, you know, if you're at the recruiting station about to sign up and he's like, all right, why am I doing this? Climate change? No,
I got one. Y'all you're gonna look real stupid because you know what I think. I think that the recruitment numbers are probably too good and we have too many. And those photos were released because we want to convince Russia and China that we're weak and feeble.
Ooh, I like where your head's at.
And then they underestimate us. And then all of a sudden we show up and our troops are in like Iron Man suits. And Biden was actually spry the whole time. And the stumbling, muttering fool he is an act. That's it. As soon as he gets off stage, he just straightens up and goes, did it work?
Did you see the video? He was like walking with the Prime Minister of Japan today, and he's like stiff shuffling, and it's like they close the door. Suddenly, he's like, "Well, my friend, I'm here to discuss all." Like he just like is a completely different person behind.
Wait, who put that video?
Oh no! Today, the Prime Minister of Japan is visiting, and there was a clip of them walking in front of the White House. You know, and you can just see he's like stiff and shuffling. But I like the idea that he's been spry the whole time.
Yeah, it's a trick.
They close the door, and everyone's caught off guard.
He takes the mask off and he's got his normal face on.
Pre-surgery. There was an old Saturday Night
face.
Live sketch about Reagan in that exact thing, where he would, you know, in the Oval Office, and he's the affable old guy for a photo op. Little like Girl Scouts are coming in for a picture. And he's like, "Well, how you doing, little girl?" Blah blah blah. And he acts like the friendly old grandpa. And as soon as the door closes, he goes, "All right, now here's what we're gonna do." And he turns.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're describing.
Yeah.
There was a bit from Whose Line Is It Anyways when they're like, what is George W. Bush doing when he's alone in the Oval Office and he's like pretending to be like quoting Shakespeare and saying all these things, and they open the door and he's like, what? I don't understand. Like that he's just playing sort of dumb the whole time. I think probably Biden is not awe-inspiring, but it's a good strategy for the military if they're just trying to look like we're in bad shape so we can surprise the enemy.
Yeah, it's part of the art of war. Sun Tzu's art of war. When you're strong, seem weak. When you're weak, play strong.
I mean, it would be smart. I'm not sure that's what they're doing.
It's a double-edged blade of intelligence.
It's a gamble.
Because you might trick your own people in the process, so you got to be careful.
Turns out inflation isn't really bad at all, and Biden was the greatest president we've ever had.
Well,
and
they
were just pretending to be stupid.
Who knew?
Well, they keep telling us the economy's not that bad, but it's very expensive to go to the grocery store these days.
I'm like, I don't want to join the military because I love my life in the civilian sector, but I do feel a desperate calling to aid the U.S. military in some sort of command structure.
You should enlist.
I wouldn't enlist.
They wouldn't let you.
I would like to advise the president or something, at least in some way. I've done so much battle tactics.
I want everyone listening to imagine President Donald Trump being like, "We need Ian. Get him in here. He's going to answer what we do with Gaza."
Dude, and if you think, you guys listening, you think I'm crazy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Wait for the rest of the country to be like, who is this freaking dude?
I can just see your cabinet headshot now with your hair and like a velvet blazer. It'd be great.
I've been watching all these Napoleonic war tactics. Napoleon had the new technology, but I mean, modern war, I just don't know what technology we have and how to use, because of that, I don't know how to use it and how to prepare for it. I can only imagine space lasers. I don't know exactly.
Some kind of lasers.
Earthquake
There's
weaponry.
lasers in there somewhere.
The Havana active denial weaponry.
That's a real thing, I believe.
The Havana syndrome?
Invisible weapons.
Active denial is different. That's when they microwave you.
Do you believe that the Havana syndrome is real?
Probably.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's questions about whether 60 Minutes is utilizing it to drum up fear and hatred for Russia, but there's probably so many weapons people don't know about.
Yeah.
Weird, freaky stuff that people wouldn't believe. I think most UFO sightings are probably just weapons research and technology. I saw a weird triangle in the sky. It's like, I don't know, was it a blackbird or something?
Yeah. They're like, please stop asking questions now.
Right. Yeah, they got talking plasma. You ever hear of that thing where they triangulate lasers? I think they're lasers to a point in the sky, 3 or more, and then it creates a ball of plasma that they can move around really fast because it's like a laser pointer, and then it'll show up on a radar, and they'll be like, what is this craft on the radar? It looks like, but it's just moving light around, and then you can tell
it'll look like
transport.
a tic-tac.
What's that?
It'll look like a tic-tac.
Yeah, you can change the shape, potentially change the shape of it, I think. I'm not quite sure about the shapes, but you can teleport sound through it. So you can from a base station, send lasers to a spot and then make people think they're hearing stuff. That's a new kind of weaponizable technology.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So I don't know much about the Chinese army, but the way you see what the Russians are doing in Ukraine, they're having a little trouble. But the United States Army's always been the finest in the world in my estimation. And, things like this Navy picture don't help the image.
Yeah. My dad, he, joined the Navy during Vietnam. He didn't want to get drafted, so he joined the Navy.
So he signed up.
He enlisted, right away. And he's told me, don't ever join the military. If there's anything you ever want to do in your life other than that, do it, because it will rip your creativity out of your soul. And I just took it to heart. But now I'm in a point, but I did always think I think as an officer it would be a different story. He was an enlisted deckhand and hated it. Made him swab the deck and treated him like trash for a lot of time. So I could see command would be more respectable way to join the military. But I don't know, I'm 45 at this point. It maybe, but doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that the future is bright. So maybe go.
I feel like I've aged out of it. I'm 54. So
maybe you should do some basic training and for 3 months, just
I wouldn't
exercise and eat.
Exactly. That's where I'm at right now. I want to reduce caffeine because I'm also concerned with apparently a lot of pregnancies, like having trouble getting pregnant, is having to do with male sperm. It's less about the female, a lot about the male sperm.
Sperm quality
too much caffeine can super acidic. Too much coffee, so I'm cutting out the coffee. Want to cut out, what was the other stuff?
Yeah, but the Army runs on coffee.
Yeah, so
I want psychoactive stimulants.
I just want to get into a healthy, a real man state where I have kids, I have a family, I'm an actual muscular, normal dude. Then I'll consider. Maybe
you worked out one time and we're just turning
around. Ian's missed 6 training sessions.
Well, I went for a 4.5 mile walk this morning. That was why I didn't.
And you're not lifting?
No, I lifted after you guys finished. I just went in there by myself. Oh, I did. I did chest presses. I did bicep curls. I did tricep
personal
pulls.
training. This guy's not showing up.
Did those tricep busts, and I've been skating a little bit, which is really good for the lower body. These push
Is that aerobic?
pop shove-its.
You did a cardio
Big
workout
time.
from skating?
Dude, my heart
well-
has been going into VO2. I don't know if it's max, but it's like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. It's been 30 years. And then as soon as I start lifting, it goes back into VO2 again. Like, it's like the body's ready for it now.
Skateboarding, it depends, right? So today I was on the mini ramp, which is a lot of back and forth, and that's VO2 max. So your heart rate is about to
I
burst
saw
from your chest.
the ones outside here. I saw them.
Downstairs.
Oh.
Yeah, the downstairs one's way better.
everywhere
it's a complete,
here.
Yes.
Indoor? You have an indoor one?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the one downstairs is complete. It's a mini ramp, so it's actually a half pipe, and you can go back and forth on it, and that'll get your heart rate up. And that's tremendous. That's tremendously cardio. But skating like on the ground, like when you see someone running on the street, that's actually fairly anaerobic because it's a lot of jumps. It's a lot of bursts of energy and compression when you land. And so it's a decent mix, to be honest. But if I skate street, which is on flat ground, my heart rate will be around like 160 to 170. If I go on the ramp, it's 185.
Really?
Yeah, just through the roof for a half an hour straight, nonstop. And yeah. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.